Becky Lynch files lawsuit against WWE over clearly rigged title loss. What happens when the man decides that speaking truth to power is not enough and takes the nuclear option? What happens when Becky Lynch looks at WWE's corruption, their rigged matches, and their blatant favoritism, and says, you know what? I am taking this to court. The wrestling world just exploded because Becky Lynch has allegedly filed an actual lawsuit against WWE over a title loss that she claims was rigged from the start. And if this is real, we are witnessing the most insane blurring of storyline and reality in modern wrestling history. Welcome back to WWE Extreme, where today we are diving into this absolutely wild situation that has everyone asking, is this a work? Is this a shoot? Or is this something completely unprecedented? Before we unpack this absolute chaos, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because whether this is storyline or real life, it is the most talked about situation in wrestling right now, and you need to be here for every development, every rumor, and every mind-blowing twist. So let us break down what we know, or at least what is being reported, because in the world of WWE, the truth is always stranger than fiction. Becky Lynch apparently lost a championship match under circumstances that she believes were predetermined not in the traditional wrestling sense, but actually rigged to ensure she would not win regardless of what happened in the ring. And instead of just cutting a promo about it or taking it up with management backstage, Becky has allegedly gone the legal route and filed a lawsuit claiming that WWE violated the terms of her contract, engaged in unfair labor practices, and essentially screwed her out of a title that she was contractually entitled to compete for fairly. Now, your first reaction is probably the same as mine. This has to be a work, right? WWE has done the worked shoot before. They have blurred reality and storyline to create buzz and controversy. But here is where it gets interesting. If this is a work, it is the most elaborate and legally risky work in WWE history. Filing an actual lawsuit, even a fake one, opens up all kinds of legal complications, potential regulatory issues, and public relations nightmares. Would WWE really go that far just to sell a storyline? Or is Becky Lynch legitimately so fed up with how she has been treated that she is willing to burn bridges and take this fight to an actual courtroom? Let us talk about the specific allegations in this lawsuit because they are spicy beyond belief. According to reports, Becky claims that her title match was rigged through a combination of factors: biased officiating where the referee was instructed to favor her opponent, predetermined interference that she was not informed about, and match structure designed to make her look weak regardless of her performance. Becky is essentially saying that WWE did not just book her to lose. They actively sabotaged her in a way that violated the good faith competitive environment that wrestlers expect when they step into the ring. And here is where this gets really meta. Becky is using her own history of calling out WWE corruption as evidence in the lawsuit. All those promos where she talked about favoritism, all those confrontations with Adam Pearce about rigged opportunities, all of that is apparently being cited as part of a pattern of WWE management systematically undermining her career. If this is a work, it is brilliant because it takes months of storyline and retroactively frames it as building to this legal confrontation. If this is a shoot, it is devastating because it means everything Becky has been saying on television was not character work, it was real frustration leaking through. But let us consider the possibility that this is entirely a work, a genius piece of storytelling designed to create the most buzz WWE has generated in years. Think about it. In an era where fans are jaded and know that everything is scripted, what is the one way to make people genuinely question what is real? File an actual lawsuit, or at least claim to file one, and watch the internet lose its collective mind trying to figure out what is kayfabe and what is legitimate. WWE would be weaponizing confusion and speculation to generate attention, and from a purely business perspective, that is kind of genius even if it is morally questionable. Now let's talk about what this means if it is real, because a legitimate lawsuit against WWE from one of their top stars would be unprecedented chaos. WWE would have to respond legally, which means discovery, which means internal documents and communications could become public. We could see emails about booking decisions, contracts, and how WWE actually operates behind the scenes. That is the kind of transparency that WWE has spent decades avoiding, and the idea that Becky Lynch could force it through legal action is both terrifying for WWE and incredibly exciting for fans who have always wondered how the machine really works. And here is the nuclear option scenario. What if other wrestlers join Becky's lawsuit or file their own? What if this opens the floodgates and suddenly every wrestler who feels they were unfairly buried, denied opportunities, or screwed over decides that legal action is a viable path? WWE could be facing a class action situation that fundamentally changes how they operate, how they book matches, and how they treat talent. That is not just one storyline or one disgruntled employee. That is a potential industry-wide revolution sparked by the man refusing to accept business as usual. But let us pump the brakes for a second and consider the evidence that this is all an elaborate work. First, WWE has been pushing the boundaries of worked shoots for years, constantly trying to find new ways to blur reality and storyline. Second, Becky Lynch is one of the most creative minds in wrestling and would absolutely be down for a storyline this meta and controversial. Third, the timing is suspiciously perfect for generating WrestleMania season buzz, when WWE needs maximum attention on their product. All of these factors point toward this being a masterfully executed work that is playing everyone like a fiddle. And you know what is really messing with people's heads? WWE has not officially responded yet. If this were a shoot, you would expect immediate damage control, lawyers issuing statements, WWE categorically denying the allegations. But the silence is deafening, which could mean they are letting the speculation build for storyline purposes, or it could mean they are actually consulting with legal teams about how to respond to a legitimate lawsuit. The uncertainty is driving everyone crazy, and that uncertainty is creating more buzz than any traditional angle could generate. Let us also talk about what this means for Becky's character and her position in WWE going forward. If this is a work and she is playing everyone with a fake lawsuit, she just became the most clever manipulator in the company and deserves all the. When we talk about Becky Lynch filing a lawsuit against WWE over a clearly rigged title loss, we are talking about a moment that transcends normal wrestling storylines. This is either the most brilliant work shoot in modern wrestling or the most explosive real-life controversy WWE has faced from a current top star. And the fact that we genuinely cannot tell which one it is? That might be the most impressive part of this whole situation. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.